Traders, US dollar has risen more than 1% in the current week. In fact, it has been quoted as one of the best weeks for USD in 2025. Now, the question is it a permanent reversal or a short-lived bounce? In today's video, I'm going to uncover the technical chart setup for Euro USD, Bitcoin, and everyone's favorite gold. So let's start our chart analysis with dollar index. I'm going to start on the weekly frame. I am going to apply fib retracement on the previous up move, and I'm gonna check the wave 1 downward. So this is the end of wave 1, basically A, this is wave B, and this is the next wave. Now I do not see any divergence here. So when I'm comparing the previous low with the new low, it is a lower low formation, and here we see a lower low formation, and even on histogram I see a lower low formation, which means there should be a corrective bounce from the current level and then continuation lower. I'm going to apply fib extension, so I'll start from the highest here, point A, point B, and point C. So I'm going to connect fib extension in the downward direction here. So let's apply. So A and B connected, and now I'm connecting point B to point C here. And that's it. Now, based on candlesticks, the extension level of 100% was exactly achieved. So in terms of numbers, price level, it is 95.90, and we get a bounce from the current level. Now, most likely, the bounce should continue towards the next fib resistance, that is 101.13. So I can see here a major magnet is formed because we have fib retracement plus extension line coming together here. So it's a very strong resistance area, and I can also use here retracement on the leg down. Now, the next major resistance prior to 101.13 is fib retracement 23.6, and 99.84 is the level to look for. Switching down to daily now. On the daily frame, we got bullish divergence at the bottom. So here we have a low and a equal low formation with bullish divergence. Now, bullish divergence is visible only on MACD lines, but not on histogram, because when I'm comparing the histogram, number one, with the next histogram, it is again a lower low formation, which means the bounce here is to be taken as short-lived and then continuation lower. So this is the second confirmation that the current bounce in US dollar is going to be short-lived. Now, since we have a new low here, I'm going to put a vertical line applied here, and I cannot apply extension in the bullish direction. Reason being, the cycle is not yet completed. Now I'll be switching to 4H. On the 4-hourly frame, starting from the vertical line, that is the lowest point, reversal point, I can see here multiple cycles. So I can start my extension from the lowest, point A, aligned with negative, and I can take into account this one as point B, and this is our point C. So let's apply our extension here. So our first fib extension to check the bullish bounce. So we can change the color to blue here. So the blue lines are representing the extension level in the upward direction. So currently it reached precisely fib extension 100 and it got blocked, and we have support around 98.46. I can also use retracement here, starting from the low to the recent high. So now I'm going to apply fib retracement. So on the basis of fib retracement, I get to see a very strong level between 78 to 85. So this is the level to look for. In case we see a breach of 97.56, then I will expect continuation lower, but most likely it will hold the support at 97.56 to 97.69. So this is a temporary movement downwards because it needs to complete the corrective bounce up. So unless it remains above 97.69 to 97.56, I'm expecting continuation, short-term continuation in the bullish direction. So the immediate resistance is at 99.84, followed by fib extension 1.618 of the bullish one. So this is at 100.37, and our ultimate target would be 101.13. So this is a plan for dollar index, short-lived bullish momentum, and then continuation lower. And the next instrument is Bitcoin, and I want to start Bitcoin on the weekly frame here. Now, based on the candles chart, I'm going to count the waves here. So this is our base, and from here we got the wave 1, wave 2, and now we have wave 3. And the high of wave 1 and the recent most high, it is creating a pattern of higher highs, again higher highs on MACD lines, but I see equal highs on MACD histogram, which means that we have divergence on histogram basis only, and I can see short-term pullback here or maybe sideways consolidation for a while and then continuation higher. So we need to apply fib extension. So first I will connect A, B and C here. I'll start from the low of 3059. I'll connect with the high of 68,000 and then the pullback low here. So if you notice, we have fib extension 161. So it is a major resistance level here. So we have fib extension 161 at 121,637. And the breakout higher than 121 was short-lived. It did not sustain. And that's the reason I can see here short-term pullback. Now I will apply here fib retracement on the move from the lowest point to the recent high. So let's apply retracement here. So fib retracement applied from the lowest to the highest, and I can see here that 110 is acting as a very strong support at the moment, fib retracement of 14.6, and the next major level support is at 23.6, and it's a psychological support at 100,000 mark. In case we see a close below 110, then it will quickly move to 100, and once we see a break below 100, then the next level to look for is 83,976. 83,976 is fib retracement 38.2, and it is also a magnet support zone. So this is the strong support area. So only if it breaks below 110, we will look for 100. And once it breaks below 100, we can look for 83,976. And this would be a short-lived pullback because I'm expecting continuation higher. So any drop towards 83,976 to be taken as an opportunity to buy. Now I'll be switching to line chart and I'll move down to daily time frame here. Now on the basis of daily time frame, we can see here equal high pattern. So here first high and second high is marginally higher. And I can see that sellers, they're trying their level best to break the support of 110, but they have not yet succeeded. So only if I see momentum building up towards 100 or below 100, then only we can expect a deeper pullback towards 83 or 84,000 mark, and then continuation higher. Otherwise, it could be sideways consolidation. So here we see that this is the first move, this is the second high, so there was divergence between these two highs, and the next move was not sustainable. So alternatively, I can see here range bound behavior, consolidation, and then continuation higher. Let's move down to the lower time frame, that is 4H. Now on the 4-hourly frame, I can see here higher highs with loss of momentum, and now it has printed lower highs here and a sharp move down, but sellers, they have failed to create a lower low pattern here. So this low is still intact. So deeper pullback to be anticipated only if we see a break below 110. Moving to 1-hourly chart. Now on the 1-hourly chart, I can see here lower highs and lower low pattern. So I can see here high, lower high, and lower high in conjunction with lower lows. Now I'm anticipating a pullback and then again continuation lower. So lower time frames, they are hinting towards sideways consolidation or short-term pullback. Higher time frames, they are still giving us the story of long-term rise. Now the next instrument is Euro US dollar. Now based on the monthly frame, Euro USD, after creating a massive move up, it remained under pullback for multiple years, and this is the low which comes with lower low and bullish divergence, and it comes precisely on 78. So here we get bullish divergence on MACD lines and MACD histogram. Now because of bullish divergence, I need to apply here break of structure level. So break of structure level applied, which is not yet done. I'm going to apply fib retracement from the lowest to the highest, and the loss and momentum, basically bullish divergence, occurs precisely in between 78 to 85. Now we need to apply here trend line method because the break of structure is pending. So let's apply trend line. And yes, the trend line is broken. So basically buyers, they have entered into the market, they have created the first move up, and I can see here ABC pattern is also applicable. I'm using now reverse fib from the highest to the lowest, and on the basis of reverse fib, I can see here a very strong magnet is formed around 50%. In terms of price level, this is 1.2122, and a very strong support level is formed here. So this is in terms of price level 1.1198, or we can say 1.1200. Now since our first wave in the bullish direction is completed, starting from the lowest point, I'm going to apply here fib extension. So let's apply our first fib extension in the bullish direction. Done. Right now we are exactly at fib extension 100%, so it is acting as strong level of resistance, and I'm going to use here the vertical line on point C. Now it's time to move down to the next lower time frame, that is weekly chart. And on the weekly chart, I can see here that after hitting the extension level of 100%, Euro USD could not sustain higher, and I can see first move down, move up, could not create a new higher high, and it has started pulling down now. And the environment on the histogram is also corrective. Now since US dollar index is moving higher, again for a dead cat bounce for the corrective pattern, so it gives the confirmation that Euro USD for the time being would be under corrective pressure downwards. Now I can apply here fib retracement starting from the lowest to the highest. So the first destination is 1.1551, or we can say 1.1550, followed by 1.1413. So it is fib retracement 14.6 followed by fib retracement 23.6. Now let's move on to daily. Now on the daily frame, I can see here that it is under bearish divergence. So this is higher high pattern in conjunction with bearish divergence on histogram and on MACD lines. So based on the bearish divergence, I need to apply here breakout structure. So breakout structure applied, which is not yet done. So if breakout structure is pending, we can use trend line for validation. So I will connect from the lowest point to the BOS point. So let's apply a diagonal line here. And yes, the rising trend line is compromised. So sellers, they have pushed the price lower than the rising trend line. So we need to find out the first extension in the bearish direction. So let's move down lower, and I will start my extension from the highest point. So this is the highest point. Now moving to 4H. Now based on the vertical line, the first wave down. So this is our point A, this is point B, and this is point C. So I'm gonna extend in the bearish direction here. So fib extension downwards, starting from the highest. I'm connecting A to B and B to C here. Since it's bearish, let's use red in color. And the sellers, they've pushed the price precisely to the first extension, 100. So this is 1.1556. Now, if you notice the previous wave low and the new low, it is creating a sequence of lower lows here. Again, lower low on MACD lines, but no lower low on histogram, which means a short-lived pullback and then continuation lower. So a bounce is highly anticipated, and yes, a bounce is happening right now, but the bounce would be taken as short-lived. So now I'm going to apply fib retracement only on the last wave down, so starting from the highest to the lowest. So best case scenario, I can see EURUSD rising back to the area of 78.6 to 85.4. In terms of price level, it would be 1.1716 to 1.1730. Now this is the best case scenario. Or we can also see here continuation lower either from 61, which is again a very strong magnet area. In terms of price level, this would be 1.1690 and then continuation lower. If I use a trend line here in the bearish direction, so I'm going to connect the highest. So this is the bearish trend line. Now on the basis of bearish trend line, we can expect the retest of the trend line or maybe a false breakout and then continuation lower. So we need to extend and we need to see the new magnets below 1.1550. And the next magnet is coming exactly around 1.1431. So unless EURUSD remains lower than 1.1716, I'm expecting continuation lower and the completion of 1.1430 as the next target. So in the short run, EURUSD is anticipated to be bearish, but the long-term structure is still bullish. Now moving down to 1 hourly, and on the 1 hourly basis, I can see here that it is still under lower low formation. So this is the previous low and this is the new low, and I could see here lower lows. I could see here lower lows on price, lower lows on histogram, and lower low on MACD lines, which means the current bounce is to be taken as short-lived and then continuation lower. So any rise towards 1.1634 followed by 1.1690 to be taken as an opportunity to sell in the short run and aim towards 1.1550 as the first downward target, and the next one would be 1.1430. And finally, I'll move to gold. Now here, I'll start from 6 monthly chart. I don't want to trade on a 6 monthly chart basis, but only to plot the fib extension on the long-term structure. So I'm gonna use the low here at 248, the high here at 1928, and the pullback low at 1050. So this will give us the extension levels. So our first ABC or fib extension in the bullish direction applied. Now this is our current 6 monthly candle ongoing, which has clearly broken the resistance at 161. In terms of price level, it is 3757. So basically 3757 is now our major support fib level, and the fib extension 200 is showing the new target of 4399. In terms of round number, we can say 4400. That's it. Now I can move down to monthly chart. Now on the monthly frame, I'm going to apply here the extension starting from this low, and I can apply here to this high, and this is the pullback point. So this is going to be our first extension on the monthly frame in the bullish direction. So first extension on the monthly frame applied. I'll change the color to green, and that's it. Now the nearest extension, so 3934 is the closest fib extension support level, and the next major resistance is at 4111, and there is a very strong magnet exact overlap which is at 4400 mark. Now what about the next extension? Now the next extension we can apply on the weekly frame. I'm skipping the cycles here. I'm just picking the major extension levels here based on the waves. So here I can start my next extension from the low of 2546, and then this is the high and this is the low. I'm gonna connect now. So A, B, and C. So I'm gonna use my next extension on the major move on the weekly chart, and I can change the color to blue here. Now if you see, there is a very strong magnet at 4079 to 4111. So this is the closest resistance area, very strong. So 4079 to 4111, and the closest strong support is here. So it is again at 3757, and in between we have a very strong fib level support at 3940. And the environment here is extremely bullish. I do not see any damage to the pattern, because here I can see high and a new high, a higher high pattern. I can see high and a new high on histogram, and high and a new high on MACD lines, which means that bullish trend should continue. Now I'll be switching to the daily frame. Now on the daily frame, again, I'm just working on the last up move here. So this is our strong support, 3934, and I'm gonna apply here the extension starting from the low and point B and point C here. Else we can apply here extension on this low, which basically creates a massive push, takes the price higher than the magnet resistance area. Magnet area becomes new support, and this is the new leg up. So we have alternative methods to count the waves here. So let's apply. So this is the first extension on the daily chart. Applied. We can change the color here, and the next extension on the daily chart I'm going to use only on the last move up here. So I'm starting from the point which is lower than this yellow highlighted area, the magnet area, and applied. So I can see here a very strong overlap. So basically 4042 is now acting as local resistance, and in the current week I have seen that gold, when it rallied above 4,000, so it found major resistance around 4050 and then quickly dropped, and the local support here is at 3934 or 3940, and higher to that we see I can see here a double fib line area, that is magnet support. I'm going to highlight it, which is at 3965. So 3965 is the closest support, and 3950 or 3940 is the closest resistance. But there is no damage to the structure, and the environment looks extremely bullish. Now I'll switch to the next lower time frame, that is 4-hourly chart. Now on the basis of 4-hourly chart, starting from the magnet area, the yellow highlighted area, our first move up and the pullback. So we can count, and here I can see that it has formed a high and a higher high pattern here and a higher high pattern here, which means even on the 4-hourly frame there is no damage to the bullish structure, and the drop is to be taken as short-lived, and it should continue higher. So we need to keep in mind that currently it is facing resistance at 4045, and it has formed support at 3964. So let's apply our next extension on the 4-hourly frame. So I'm connecting from the yellow highlighted area and applied next extension here, and let's change the color to orange here. So a very strong support below 3965 is at 3929. So in case if you see a pullback and it doesn't break the support of 3929, you can just hold it with confidence, your buy trades, and you can look for the next target at 4100 mark, basically 4109. In the longer run, I can see that it is going to complete the extension which was taken on 6 monthly and monthly frame around 4400. So the plan is, in the current week, any drop to be taken as an opportunity to buy unless it breaks the support of 3934. This is the local support, nearest support. And in terms of fib retracement, starting from the low here, only on the last leg up, we have very solid retracement support of 50%, and the short run bullish move to be considered as invalid only if we see 4-hourly closure below 3854. So in the coming week, I will take the level of 3854 as the ultimate support, and any drop towards 3854 or maybe slightly higher towards 3930 to be taken as an opportunity to buy and hold it for the target of 4100. And in the longer run, we have above 4100, we have 4200 level, a strong area 4176, followed by 4300, and ultimate level at 4400. I hope my today's video was helpful. If you like my content, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, stay sharp and trade smart. I'll see you next week.